Up now is Wisconsin head coach Mike Eaves. Eaves enters his 12th year with the Badgers, having led Wisconsin to a national title in 2006 and NCAA runner-up finish in 2010. Eaves returns 21 letter winners from last year's NCAA tournament team. Coach will start with an opening statement, and then we'll go to questions.
Well, like most everybody in the room, we are excited about this Big Ten season and all the new things that it'll bring to the world of hockey. I know the other coaches have touched upon it, but it'll be interesting to see that how this spreads and the excitement that comes with it. So we're excited to be a part of it.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open the floor for questions now.
Hey, Coach Andy Johnson, Bucky's fifth quarter. Can you talk about the transition for Nick Herdelis this year, starting off kind of a fresh start? He had obviously the suspension last year, and now you're talking about moving him from the wing to the center, and how that kind of makes your depth a little bit more down the middle for the forwards this year.
Well, I think when you look at your hockey team, you build from the net out, so you start with your goaltenders, and then you move to your blue line, and then as a forward group, you want to be strong down the middle. And Nick has been a center in his life. I think he likes that position. I think he gets more touches in the middle, so it's pretty natural progression. He's had a year under his belt. He understands what the responsibilities are by watching other centers on our team and what we need him to do with and without the puck. So I think it's a pretty natural progression for him.
I'm Mike Myers with 1500 ESPN. What do you think of being picked as the favorite, and what kind of additional pressure does that put on your shoulders?
I think the reason that we were picked in that position is because you take a look at our lineup, and we're an upperclassmen team. And I think that if I'm looking at other teams, that's the first thing I look for, returners and such. So it's almost a natural thing to happen because of the fact that we are an upperclassmen team. So no surprises there. I don't think it changes any things that we do in terms of our expectations and the way we want to conduct our business. It's just a pretty natural progress or position to be in because of the upperclassmen we have on the team.
Tyler Mason, Fox Sports North. Mike, in your mind, what are some of the biggest advantages of moving to the Big Ten this year?
Well, I heard Donnie just talk about the fact that I think for the college hockey fan, they're going to know where to go to find college hockey. I think that we have a really fun product. It's a good product to watch. And the fact that the exposure level is going to be at such a high level, a constant level, people are going to know where it is and where to find it. I think just having that on the table will really help people find the game, and we'll get more fans because of that.
Mike Andy Baggett with the Wisconsin State Journal. What's the degree of difficulty of trying to keep a team together like this so you have as many seniors as you have, juniors as you have, given the number of players that you've lost to the NHL?
I don't know if there's a real concise answer to that. I think every young person that comes to your program has a different agenda, background, goals. The young man that we lost last year, Brendan Woods, I never would have thought he would have left, but there was a background there that when he had an opportunity to turn pro, that was really important to him for various reasons, none that I'm going to share now. But so every young man is different, and we have a group that we had the potential to lose more than just Brendan this past year, and for different reasons, and each boy is different. They decided they wanted to stay, to finish their education for 1 year more of growth physically, mentally, emotionally. So it varies. It's something that we really don't control. So this year we had young men stay, and we've got an upperclassmen team for the first time in a long time. And based on that, if you take a look at college athletics, teams that are successful at this level are primarily upperclassmen teams. So to answer your question concisely, I think kids staying is a case-by-case decision by them.
Mike, Frank Mazzacco, Gopher Sports Radio. You've had a couple of years to recruit now, knowing that the Big Ten Conference would be. What impact has the Big Ten name had in recruiting?
Frank, I think that would be hard to quantify because I haven't asked that question directly to the kids that, let's say, have committed to us knowing we're going to the Big Ten. My thought process is the fact that would be something that exists in their head. That's a part of why they may choose to come to, in this case, Wisconsin. But to quantify, is it 50% of the reason? I don't know. But the attractiveness of the Big Ten network playing in the Big Ten, it's a recognizable product that young people are aware of, and I'm sure it has a factor.
Your goaltending, obviously, you've got two very good ones, too. How do you balance that in practice? Could you explain to everybody how you kind of go through the process of picking a particular goaltender every game?
That's top secret, Brian. I can't share. We have, it's interesting with Gary Anderson, our football coach, at the beginning of his training camp, they got this quarterback controversy, and I think, that competitiveness that he had with his quarterbacks is what we have with our goaltenders. The fact that they come in every day and they push each other, and we do a lot of small area games, and when we do these type of drills, we keep track of score, or keep score, and we know which goalie is winning, and they know which goalie is winning. So there's a natural push from the inside, and I think that keeps both young men sharp. And last year, at the beginning of the year, we've done this last couple of years, we kind of switched back and forth, and then at the end of the year, you want to see who's going well and who's got the hot hand. You try to ride them a little bit more, but it's a competitive situation every day in practices, and I think that's what makes them better.
Andy Baggett with the Wisconsin State Journal. Shootouts, good thing, bad thing? Are you like it? Obviously, you have to prepare for it in practice.
Yeah. From the aspect of a fan, I think it's tremendous. I mean, in the game of ice hockey right now, people get excited, well, in the old days, fights, goals, and I think shootouts. I mean, they at the end of the game, they're all standing watching it. I think it it really appeals to the public that we're going to have something like this. The purist in me says the concern was always, well, it can't affect the RPIs. We want to make sure it doesn't do that. And so we're going to be doing it this year, and talking with Coach Berenson, he shared some of the things that they do, but they rehearse it. They get up the Zamboni in the middle of the week, and they keep track. And, I think most teams will do that now. But for the fans, I think it's an exciting thing. It's going to make their experience coming to the game at another level.
Mike, Jess Myers again. The first couple months of last season, injuries, suspensions, coaching changes, all of that, you end the season hoisting a trophy in this building and make it to the NCAA tournament. What was the lesson, or what did you take away from that about resiliency?
We had you talk to any coach at the end of a season, they're going to tell you that about tough spots they run into, and we obviously hit ours at the beginning of last year when we had about 3 or 4 storms come together. The life lesson in there that we spoke to our kids about is we have choices every day to make, and how we come to work and how we decide to work. We could be fatalists and say, woe is me, but the lesson was every day come to work, make a choice on where we want to be and how we're going to make changes. And it proved its worth. It's a fundamental truth about making choices, and so I think in a life lesson type of thing, as they move on in life, they'll be able to look back and say, I've been through this, I've been through some tough times, and this is what we need to do, and by doing these things, it's going to turn around and there'll be better days. So in the big picture thing, I think that's something they could take with them.
We have time for one more question.
Andy Johnson, Bucky's fifth quarter again. Coach, you guys are a very veteran team this year, but are there any younger guys, maybe recruits or otherwise, that you're looking to step up in a bigger role this season?
One thing about working with kids at this age, every summer they go away. You have a chance to mature physically, mentally, emotionally, and then they come back and they can be, a different young person. And we sure hope the guys that coming back have that growth. I think history tells us that teams are successful, they need a group or 1 or 2 freshmen to step up and be a factor after Christmas and be a contributing factor. And we're no different this year. We brought in 5 young men, and out of that 5, we're going to need a couple of them to step up and hopefully be positive factors after Christmas time, because it'll take a little bit to get used to this new level. But if we have that happen, that would be a very good thing for us.